What's up, guys? Welcome back to the channel. Welcome back to a brand new video. Today I'm going to be talking about the top 5 things I don't like about this bike. And well, I think I'm actually going to talk about 4 things that I don't like about the bike, and then I'm going to leave number 5 for, you know, the smaller things that still piss me off a lot, but you can kind of live with them, you know. Last thing I wanted to say, same as all my previous top 5 videos, these things are not going to be in any order. They're kind of just whatever popped up to my mind first. So with that being said, let's get on to the first thing. So the first thing that pisses me off, and this thing pisses me off quite a bit actually, is the side mirrors. You know, obviously I don't mind the way they look. They stick out quite a bit, but it's alright. I don't mind the way I see out of them. You know, all those things are completely fine. What pisses me off the most is when I'm going really fast, like, I don't know, 200, 220, you know, and faster. At those speeds, these mirrors literally just start, like, folding themselves in. And I guess it's because of the wind, but, you know, it never happened to me with the CBR600RR. Obviously, that bike is a bit slower, but I did bring it up to like 230, 240 if I remember correctly, and the mirrors didn't do it. And I think that those are like the exact same mirrors as they put on the 650R. Obviously when you're going just like a little faster, or when you're accelerating, they're not gonna like fold themselves in. But yeah, when you're going speeds above, you know, 200, 220, like I said, they just start folding themselves in, and you just have to keep adjusting them. I need my mirrors to be exactly perfect so I can see perfectly out of them. And you know, with that being said, obviously adjusting them constantly is very annoying. Sometimes it only turns like in this section, sometimes like the whole mirror turns. So yeah, it is annoying to constantly adjust it. I'm not sure if I'm gonna do anything about the mirrors. If I do though, I'm definitely not gonna go for like the stealth mirrors or anything like that. I was thinking about going for the Fireblade mirrors, which have the blinkers kind of embedded in the side mirror. Number 1, I would get rid of these not as good looking blinkers. And number 2, I would probably solve my issue with the mirrors folding in. We'll see if I end up doing it later, but I don't think it will happen anytime soon. I've invested quite a bit of money in this bike, so I want to enjoy it now, and I want to like stop spending money for at least a month, you know? Anyways, the second thing that I hate about this bike has to be the room under the rear seat, because let's just face it, there's absolutely none. And obviously this is a sport bike, and I don't think I can name any sport bike that would have a lot of room under the rear seat, under the rider's seat, or just anywhere in general, to be honest. But like with this bike, the room behind the rear seat or under the rear seat is just so little that you cannot even fit a first aid kit there, man. It is so small. I don't know about USA, but here, if you want to like legally ride a bike, you have to have a first aid kit with you. You should have some like tools as well, but I don't know if that's like mandatory or not. But you do need to have a first aid kit. Even when I bought this bike brand new and I picked it up, it just came with a toolkit. I did not have a first aid kit under the rear seat because, like I said, you cannot fit it there. And Honda basically just ended up giving me the first aid kit separately, and I just put it in my car and just left it there. It's not the biggest deal for me. I'm pretty sure there's a few sport bikes that definitely have a little bit more room. For example, the CBR600R that I had before this definitely had a little more room where, you know, I was carrying around my first aid kit no problem at all, and still had a little bit more room left there. So the CBR600R was definitely way better when it comes to the room behind the rear seat. So the only things I use it for is basically just my wallet, because it's annoying to ride with my wallet in my pocket constantly. So I just stuff my wallet right to the side under the rear seat, and then I obviously have one of my microphones there, so that records the exhaust sound, and then I don't use that space for anything else. Obviously, if you're carrying stuff here and there, you're probably fine with a backpack. That's what I do. I'm completely fine with it. I don't really need the room under the rear seat for anything, so I don't mind it as much. But you know, you could also get like a full like set of bags, like travel bags for the 600RR, but I actually think that looks kind of stupid. And if you want to, you know, travel with this bike, then probably just get an adventure bike anyways, because that's gonna be way comfortable and you can fit way more stuff in there. So anyways, with that being said, the room under the rear seat, definitely very annoying, but I don't mind it as much because I don't really need the room under the rear seat for that many things. The next thing that I don't like about this bike are actually the brakes, and let me explain. I don't mean the full brake system. Like, the bike brakes pretty well, but when I'm like really hard on the brakes, I feel like the bike should be able to brake, let's say 10, 20, maybe even 30% harder than it does. I gotta enjoy this underpass every time. I love the sound, guys. Basically, I just had a few close calls. For example, when I was in the twisties with my buddy with the Duke 890R, and I was a little tired and I forgot that there was one more turn. There was another situation of me going very fast and a car, you know, going into my lane or something, and I had to slam the brakes from, you know, 180 kilometers an hour, almost 200, down to 50. So obviously I had to be really, really hard on the brakes, and the handlebars just started like shaking, you know, back and forth a little bit. I also felt the rear of the bike just, you know, almost lifting up, and you know, it just started feeling very, very light, and it started moving left and right a little bit as well. And yeah, that's not a great experience. That's really freaking scary. Let me enjoy this underpass. Let me scare everyone, guys. I don't want to blame just the brakes though, because number one, when you're braking really, really hard, there is some skill needed as well. And number two, this could be the cause of also a few different things. For example, not really great tires or a bad suspension setup, maybe a few other things as well. So I don't want to just say that the brakes are crap and move on. The suspension isn't set up badly in my opinion, but it isn't set up exactly to me, so it could potentially be a little bit better. I think if I would do something like that, it would definitely help the bike out at least a little bit. And the second thing that I've already noticed is when I replace the tires, it seems like I have a little more braking force. It's obviously not by too much, but it definitely feels better braking now with the new Pirellis than with the stock Dunlop tires. Having a bit better brakes would definitely still help, and I would definitely be thankful for it. I just want to feel a little more brake force out of the bike and a little more stability under heavy braking, and it would definitely feel much better. The fourth thing that I hate about this bike actually used to annoy me so freaking much, but it's pretty easily fixable, and that is, it's very hard to check the oil levels on this bike by yourself. Basically, there is a very small cutout in the fairing right at the exact same level where you have the glass to measure the oil level. So basically, in order to see through the cutout in the fairing, your head needs to be almost touching the ground. You just have to be super low. But then if you're that low, it's very hard to be able to like stand the bike upright while like just keeping your head down and looking through it. So it's just super annoying to do it this way, but this thing is easily solvable. You got two options. Number one, ask a friend. If you're, going on a ride and you're just chilling at a parking lot, it's not that big of a deal for him to just hold the bike upright for 10 seconds. Or your second option is to get a rear work stand, which, you don't need a friend to check your oil and your bike is going to be perfectly upright. There is one flaw to this, however. From my own experience, when I checked the oil at an exact even place, there was a little bit more oil in the pan than when I checked it on a work stand. It is by like a tiny bit, but when you're around that minimum mark and it's showing a little less and you're on a work stand, just keep that in mind, that it could be showing a little less because it's on a work stand. But yeah, definitely a super solvable situation. Don't even need your friend to do it with you. And now we already got to the fifth thing that I don't like about this bike. And at the start of the video, I said that I'm gonna include some smaller things that I still don't like as much, but you can live with them. So the first honorable mention is no gas gauge. I'm completely fine with it. All I do is I just reset trip A every single time I fill up, and then when I'm around 150 kilometers, I just go fill up. I don't care if I'm on like half a tank, less than half a tank. It really depends with your riding style, but filling up every 150 kilometers or so is definitely a good idea, and you should never run out of gas this way. The next thing I don't really like about this bike is the wheelie control. Like, it's not terrible, but there's two main things that I don't like about it. The first thing, the bike doesn't let you know how much it will allow you to raise the front wheel up. It's not like what you have on the KTM Super Duke, the S1000RR. With these bikes, they show like an image of a bike and the front wheel increasingly like goes higher. Over here, all you have is number 1, 2, and 3, and unless you read the manual, you don't know which is which. And even after you read the manual, you don't know how much it's gonna let you raise the rear wheel up. So for someone that doesn't know how to freaking wheelie, this bike can be scary because you don't know what to expect from it for the first time. And second thing that I don't like about the wheelie control is that each mode, number 1, 2, and 3, don't really feel much different from each other. I'm a pussy. I don't want to do clutch ups with this bike until I get my wheelies down way better. So, I just power wheelie this bike just a little bit for fun. And basically, if I'm in setting number 3, which would be the most wheelie control, it should let the front wheel up the least out of all 3. And honestly, when I just give it full throttle at like 11k RPM in first gear, the front wheel just pops up super easily. I'm guessing every mode cuts off throttle at a little bit of a different lean angle. So with wheelie mode number 1, I can have the front wheel just a little higher before it actually starts cutting throttle off. But each wheelie control mode cuts off throttle very aggressively, so it almost forces the front wheel to like slam down to the ground, which is not great for your forks. For someone who just gets this bike, leaves on all the traction controls, all the wheelie controls, leaves it on the highest setting, and just whacks the throttle in first, thinking nothing can happen, well, shit can freaking happen. So yeah, if you guys get this bike, please be mindful of it, because wheelie modes on this are just kind of like an extra feature, but will this feature really save you? I don't really think so. Maybe like a dedicated wheelie control where the front wheel will technically like almost never lift off. Maybe something like that would be way better than like having 3 modes and none of the modes really doing much different than the other one does already. I just realized we haven't done anything crazy today, guys, and the tunnels are pretty close. I did want to talk about one more thing, so I'm thinking that I can quickly talk about what I wanted to talk about, then we can have a little bit of fun in the tunnels, and then I'm going to end it off because my battery is probably going to die soon. So the last thing that I don't like about this bike, and it is a pretty obvious one, is a little bit of a lack of aftermarket support. But, you know, it's obvious with this bike because it's a pretty brand new model. It's been released like last year or the year before in the EU. So, like I said, it's a pretty new model, and there's just not that many exhausts out for it. There's only a few full systems. They're super expensive, and then there's only a few slip-on systems, and those are, you know, also fairly expensive, and there's just not that many good options. And a lot of the full exhausts and the slip-ons just have like a huge muffler at the end, and it just does not look good, man. So finding a good exhaust for this bike is pretty hard to do. Finding any like performance upgrade is just harder to do yet because this bike is new. Not that many things have came out yet, but obviously all of that will change. The aftermarket support is just not as big so far, unfortunately, but I know that will change. We just gotta give it a year or two, and a lot of performance parts are gonna be coming. So yeah, it's just a matter of time. We are in the tunnel, we are gonna have a little bit of fun, and then we're gonna go end it off, guys. I'm obviously afraid of cops because I went through here with my friend, and he was at the end of the tunnel right here. I was at the start of the tunnel, and he said when I'm like giving it gas, he can hear me at the end of the tunnel. So obviously cops can hear me too. I'm a little afraid of that, but I love the tunnel too much. Alright guys, I'm gonna fill up at a gas station that's pretty close by. Gonna probably take a little break, and then I'm gonna start heading home. So if you guys did enjoy this video, please hit that like button, subscribe, hit the notifications, and I'll see you boys again next week. Peace! One more turn. One more turn for you boys. I love this turn, man. Anyways, peace.